Thanks for coming today. Again, my name's Paul Medina. I'm an artist and an art teacher, and we're putting together some videos for the schools to um, use as a supplement to their art curriculum in the schools. Uh, Kind of started back when we couldn't get into the schools, and so some of us are continuing to do that. And so I welcome you back, or if this is your first time, welcome. Um, Today, our subject of art that we're going to be doing today, or starting to do today, I call a hero's journey. And what I mean by that is through history, and I mean through from the very, very beginning of the ancient civilizations, artists have created work that show the best of what human beings can be and do. And even when you go back to, ancient Greece, Greece was filled with paintings and mosaics and statues of great men doing great things. Great men, sometimes they called them gods, right? Back in the long time ago in the Greek era or the Norse areas of North Europe. It's always been a subject matter that artists have always dealt with. I mean, when you think of all of the mythologies, the Greek mythologies, the Egyptian mythologies, again, the North mythologies, even into China and the Asia, those ancient populations had their own artists, and they created these great, powerful people as being good and decent and honest, and that's what those people gave to their community. And so even today, I mean, back a long time ago, it was, maybe one of the Caesars in Rome. Today, and made art of them through visual art and writings and music. It's always been a part of what artists do, showing the world that there are great and good people doing great and wonderful things for the world. And of course there's the other side too. They made artwork about, some of the bad people as well. But we're not going to think about that today. What I want to do is I want you to think about today. What do you consider, let's say, the better part of you that you can give to your community? First of all, you can give to your family, and then you can give to your friends, and then you can give to your community. And sometimes somebody just like you can give that to the world. Whether it's being a great basketball player, whether it's a scientist that, cures some terrible disease, whether you're a painter that gives joy, or a songwriter that writes a song that makes people feel something good. That's what art does. It is communicating. And when you can communicate something wonderful, right, then that's a good thing. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it something really simple. I'm going to do a thing where, what do I give to the world of the positive things that I have and what I can do? I could draw a picture of me with my daughter and my granddaughter. I've always tried to be a good father and grandfather. I try to be a good person just in general. I try not to lie, and I don't steal, and that kind of a thing. I could draw me as an artist painting or making a sculpture, because that's kind of what I do, and that's a gift that I give to the world. I give to myself. When we think of heroes, we don't really think about, or maybe you do. I know I do. When I think of heroes, I think of people who run into burning buildings to help somebody, save somebody's life. To me, that's a hero. When I think of a hero, I think of a soldier at war that fights side by side with somebody, their friend, their comrade, to accomplish a mission, and that everybody comes back home alive. To me, that is a hero. Give you some examples. Back, 3 or 4 years, about 300 years ago, there was a very, very famous Dutch painter. His name was Rembrandt, right? You may have heard of him. Well, Rembrandt, one of the things that he did that I thought, he created these dark, kind of moody paintings that were talked about scientists. He did pictures, these big grand pictures of, doctors working in a hospital or saving somebody's life. He drew and painted these wonderful paintings that were not only beautiful, but they were kind of celebrating these good men, these great men that tried to think of other people other than themselves. And I just think that's really kind of cool. Now, cut to 30 years ago. Does everybody know who Stan Lee is? Stan Lee is the father of the modern superhero. Now, these superheroes are not real, right? Superman and Batman or Spider-Man or what have you. But Stan Lee, it was an innovator. He's an artist. He was an illustrator. He did illustrations. He told stories. Illustrators are people who, within one frame or 10 frames, pictures, tells a story about what's going on, what you see. It's not just one picture, usually. And Stan Lee created this whole world. He wasn't the only one, right? But he's just this major figure in pop culture right now. And what he did, what he gave to the world, is a sense of there's goodness in the world and it needs to be preserved. Granted, there's action and explosions and stuff like that, but I think it's really interesting that you have two different artists from two different centuries. One a long time ago that kind of exalted the people that he was drawing, showing people that saw his work, wow, look at this doctor, he's doing this, or look at this craftsperson, he's building this for his community. And then you have Stan Lee that created these wonderful characters, breathed life into, and that's not new either, right? Back, like I was talking about earlier, about, it's so funny because it was so he both of them in their own right were so amazing, but back a long time ago they made up the stories. You think that Stan Lee made up all these characters and everything, and he's like this real cool guy. Well, there were people thousands of years ago that created all of the mythologies all over the world and created art that represented these make-believe characters. Now, of course, a lot of those make-believe characters back then, they were considered real. I can't imagine that anybody that could believe that Thor was actually a god that lived up in the sky with a hammer and hit the clouds and made thunder. But back then they did. But my point of saying that and making that an important aspect to what we're doing today is that you have that ability yourself to create, whether it's a cartoon or a comic book or a painting that illustrates the better part of what it is to be a human. And I think that's great, and I think it needs to be explored, without the flying and the capes and the masks or what have you. There are real heroes in the world, and you can, as an artist, create pictures that represent what they represent, or you can, recreate things and people and fables and mythology of, 2,000 years ago. Anyway, so what I've decided to do is I am drawing something that I'm very passionate about. I know you guys would think this Mr. Paul's an old man. Of course he would like this, but I'm an avid gardener. I love working in the soil. I've got my whole front yard and backyard is completely filled with garden. I think that, I'm a green person, meaning that I worry about the future of the world. It's part of who I am. So anyway, I'm creating a garden here, right? When you're doing this, make sure that you have one central element to complete your artwork. And what I mean by that is that what is missing from my thing that I can give to the world is I need to be in this picture. I need to be in here with a hoe, sweating, right? Anyway, listen, keep creating. Tell a story about yourself by telling stories about things that are important to you. Anyway, I got to get out of here. Food for thought. Think about what we talked about today, and create a superhero all your own. And the superhero doesn't have to be a man or a woman in a cape. It could be a hero that you know, a father, a brother, a friend, a cousin. Tell their story visually. Anyway, thanks for coming by. I appreciate you being here. And until next time, peace.